very much, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. And I just wanted to let you know, Mr. Speaker, that I will be sharing my time with the member from Willowdale. First, I'd like to say congratulations to all members in the House. As they say, there's not a bad seat in the House of Commons, so congratulations. We have a lot of work to do, and welcome to the 45th session of Parliament. One of the things I'd like to start with is just, I just reminded myself that, throughout our political careers, we could never lose sight of the fact that it took a lot of people to get each and every one of us here. And you should never forget where you came from and who helped you get here. For me, I've been elected now for 22 years. I started off as a school board trustee and then as a provincial member, and this is my second term in the House of Commons. And I want to say thank you to the people of Scarborough-Woburn for putting their faith behind me and supporting me during the election. I want to thank volunteers. We had a lot of volunteers, hundreds that came out for the campaign. Thank, of course, my team at the Constituent office. Without them, it would be very difficult for me to do my job, my campaign manager, CFO, the whole entire team, and, of course, my family, my wife, Lori, my daughter, Marin, and Mila. And again, thank you to the people of Scarborough-Woburn. I appreciate the fact that you put your faith in me. So if you were in Ottawa last week, you may have noticed that there was, actually, if you're anywhere in the country, you may have noticed that something special happened. We had a throne speech, and we had the King come to deliver that speech, and it was a pretty big deal. One of the great pieces in that speech, and I thought it was a fabulous speech, but one of the pieces that really resonated with me was the King's position as reflecting through, of course, the government's position, his words on democracy. He talked about how democracy in the world, everything's shifting. We're one of those places, again, where we find ourselves in a place in the world where the world is shifting, and there is more divide and uncertainty, and Canada is not immune to that. We're feeling pressure. We feel our economy being challenged, our safety, and our way of life. Global trade is being redefined, and at home, we're struggling with threats of tariffs, which compromises our industry, and that's making life more expensive for people overall. But we've seen this threat towards democracy, and I want to talk a lot about democracy today. We see the changes that are taking place around the globe, the attempt to overturn elections, democratic backsliding, governments weakening courts, media freedom, civil liberties, crackdown on oppositions, and a crackdown on the free press. So there is a lot happening in this country and a lot happening around the world, and Canada is not immune to that, the challenges that democracy faces. In Canada, we do have a strong democracy, but we need to pay attention to the challenges that it's facing. We've seen the rise over the last little while of polarization and extremism in this country, hostility, increased hostility, misinformation, divisive rhetoric, and erosion of respectful democratic discourse, foreign interference, of course, which all of us are concerned about, online disinformation, and the increase of hate. We've seen a massive increase in hate. And we as Canadians should not tolerate that. Even during the campaign, I saw, so many different types of interference. Hundreds of my signs were destroyed. There was pieces of literature that were being distributed, and I'm sure folks saw some of this disinformation about churches having their charitable status or religious institutions having their charitable status removed. There's misinformation about the sale of your homes and capital gains, and we saw even to the point where letterhead was being manipulated with positions by governments and by parties that were not real. We've had politicians decide not to run because of the threats that they've felt, and media, actually reporters, talk about this as well. And one of the things that always fascinates me with democracy is who shows up to actually vote. And we know that there's been a decline historically, statistically, in voter participation. Now, the good news is that this election, The numbers they increased from the previous election in 21, but we are seeing a decrease in comparison to post-World War II to 1980s, where it was about 75%. In 2008, the lowest numbers came forward, and it was 58%, and in recent elections, we saw 15 in 2015, 68.3. So we are seeing an increase right now, but traditionally over the last 30, 40 years, we've seen a decline. Democracy matters in this country. Democracy is what keeps our country moving forward, and democracy is going to be our pathway forward to strengthen the relationship of all Canadians. And I'm a big supporter of the preservation and promotion of democracy because it gives people a voice. You know, when a good democratic institution is working, people feel like their voice is being reflected in it. It protects our freedoms, the freedom of speech, the right to vote, the freedom of press, the right to protest. These are not just ideals, these are foundations to a strong democracy. And it creates space for change, which is really important, especially in a time like now where, as Canadians, we need to make sure that there is space for discussions and respectful discourse. So at the end of the day, we can bring forward the type of change necessary. And it keeps our government leaders accountable. Democracy is so important because it allows us to make sure that if we don't like you know, a politician or a party, that we can make changes. And that's what's beautiful about democracy. And it reflects who we are, and it also allows us to build a stronger future together. Mr. Speaker, we must meet these challenges that our country faces, and there are many challenges. You know, like I said, our entire global trading system is being reshaped. The threat of tariffs, the divides that are, you know, that people are working behind the scenes to create. We need to take on these challenges, and having a strong democratic system is the key to continuing to build a strong country. So our government, the government that's in place under our new Prime Minister, is going to look for ways to take trade, to create economic fairness, to make sure that, you know, we can continue to build a relationship with the United States and redefine this relationship, but also open up trade routes and trade relationships around the world. I've always talked about how Africa is now on the rise, and that we as Canadians should be looking towards Africa as we look for ways to reshape and rethink our entire trading system. We have to invest in the Canadian economy. We have diversity here. We represent all countries around the world. We need to leverage that to build a stronger economy, and we need to build this future together. And we know that democracy is not perfect, but we also know it's the best system we have in place to shape our future, and it reflects our values of fairness, justice, and opportunity. We also are going to look towards how we move forward building stronger, safer communities. Mr. Speaker, we are investing more through the throne speech into defense, into securing our borders and keeping communities safe. We will also look at how we spend and look for ways to reduce the growth that's taking place naturally through inflation and other systems, to keep it at a reasonable rate that is good for Canadians. We also have to make sure that we embrace technology, automation, AI, and look for ways to strengthen our country by making sure at the end of the day we take advantage of that. We'll also keep investing into those national programs like child care, pharmacare, dental care, and of course we're promoting a tax cut, which I hope all members in the House will support. So in my final 30 seconds, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to say that as Canadians, we stand for fairness, and we stand for democracy and inclusion. We protect the vulnerable, fight climate change, and push forward for reconciliation. We celebrate our bilingualism, our multiculturalism, and our shared values. And we step up to big moments. Through war, through global challenges, we are always called to lead, and we'll continue to do it again. Let's shape a Canada that works for everyone, not just today, but for generations in the future. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.